I don't know if it's just me, but the internet has felt more toxic and chaotic than ever. We've got rampant overconsumption, parasocial brands, undisclosed ads, platforms rewarding the worst kind of behavior, and outrage being currency. And all of these things contribute to a cultural environment where everyone, from the brands to the influencers to the commenters to the platforms themselves, are contributing to making it worse. So let's break down some of the worst trends on the internet right now. I want to start with the lighter one. So let's talk about the Sharpie lip liner trend. And unfortunately, I do mean real Sharpie markers. I'm not sure who originated this trend since there were a lot of creators that went viral for it, but this one with 11 million views seems to be one of the first. She's a pretty small creator and her videos only go viral when she applies Sharpie liner, so she kept doing it as a TikTok trend. But there are a lot of people who contributed to how viral this trend went, and one of them is a creator who regularly leans into rage bait as a strategy, and she's typically known for her bright red blush that she would apply under foundation as a quote-unquote makeup hack. I'm pretty sure that that's what got her to 200,000 followers, because I remember when she was going super viral for that red blush trend, I looked at her page and was surprised by like how small her platform was. So clearly rage bait works, and if you look at her page, she always posts the same thing, like countless videos of one specific trend that leans into rage bait marketing, and then she moves on to the next one and then posts that consistently. So I think some people participated in this trend because they genuinely were trying the Sharpie marker as lip liners, and others kind of used it as a tool to grow their account. Her latest viral content is all about using Sharpie markers as lip liners because according to her, they last longer than any other lip liner on the market. And just like the red blush hack, this creator has doubled down and said that this is not a rage bait strategy, that it's a makeup hack she genuinely uses. And honestly, I think it's probably a little bit of both.
On the real, I've never claimed this to be a crunchy health account. I literally post tequila salad recipes. But yeah, I line my lips with Sharpie and it lasts all day. It doesn't budge. I just started doing it. And I feel like if you don't like it, you can just not do it.
I don't know if her intention even matters because either way, whether it's a makeup hack or rage bait, she knows that people are going to be flooding her comment section about it. She also said that Sharpie markers are certified non-toxic, and because of that, that means they're safe for use around the mouth, but that's actually not how it works. According to Well and Good, the most concerning effect would be an allergic reaction, and that healthcare providers have no idea what would happen if you regularly use Sharpie on your skin, and no idea what would happen if you constantly ingest small amounts of it daily. Sharpie even has a section on their website saying not to apply Sharpie on any surface that might come into contact with the mouth. And now, of course, it's just gone super viral and everybody's trying it out for themselves. And safety aside, if you just analyze the product as a lip liner, it still doesn't make sense to me. Is it the cheapest lip liner? I mean, probably. I mean, if you're buying like a big pack of them, the per marker cost is probably extremely low. But I mean, if you look at the way that people are applying them, they dry down so fast because of all the alcohols that it just doesn't make sense to me. It looks patchy. You can't blend it very quickly. And there are so many other better alternatives. You could get some amazing lip liners for just a couple bucks on a website like YesStyle that has a lot of Korean beauty brands. And what makes this trend kind of problematic or potentially dangerous is how fast social media can turn something dangerous into a hack. Once enough people copy it, then it's seems to be completely normal and people stop questioning its safety. I really wish I didn't have to say this, but just because something is viral doesn't mean it's good, and just because a hack is viral doesn't mean it's safe. Okay, the next one makes me like irrationally angry, like actually makes my head want to explode for no reason. There are these dumb little TikTok accounts that have urgent language about a product being on sale, and then that's their entire account. They post the same thing over and over and over again for the same product during that sale period, and then they repeat that formula for all other products. And the reason I'm so annoyed about this is because every time I click on the product page, the sale has already ended. And then because I clicked on the product, my feed just becomes like a whole onslaught of ads for that product sale when the sale has already ended. And these accounts typically have very few followers, only a handful of views, and they rarely show anything but the product, usually not even their faces. And I do want to mention that I have two different TikTok accounts that have totally different feeds, and that experience has been really eye-opening for me because on my like State of Kate account, which is just my personal account, you know, it's like dog videos, comedy videos, recipes, ASMR, you know, just good feels. I don't really get a lot of like commission-based super salesy ads or anything like that, and I don't seem to get that many ads at all. Whereas on my influencer research account, which is where I follow all the influencers and I try to keep up with the trends, that's where I'm just constantly seeing ads, sales for products, and things like that. So you have to remember, it really does matter what you engage with, because the more of what you watch, the more of what you comment on, the more that you like and save, that's the kind of content that will be served to you. So if you're clicking on product pages, you'll be served more links, more commission-based accounts, more sales, more ads, and things like that. Whereas if you do the opposite, you won't see as much of that. I've been talking a lot about social media lately and just its general effects on my life and my brain. So I'll leave a video in the description box that talks about how I reduced my social media usage and how I kind of stopped being addicted to my phone. But back to the trend of these like small faceless ad accounts, they do this because there are very few requirements to be an affiliate that can earn commission from TikTok shop purchases, but there are much higher requirements to earn income on views. Because basically anyone can earn commission on TikTok shop, and TikTok promotes new accounts. So this is a super widespread strategy for fast cash online. Listen, as much as I want to hate on them because those accounts annoy me so much, I also kind of respect the hustle because we're in a scary time with a tough economy and a truly horrible job market. So if you can find a way to make a little bit of money online, like honestly, I kind of have to applaud that while also being disgusted. But I make commentary videos online about other people, so I'm also disgusted with myself. But obviously the frustrating part is that the algorithm rewards it, so we're just left with all these feeds being constantly flooded with content that's not made to entertain, but made to convert. According to Creator Hero, this influencer with only 22,000 followers makes $4,000 a week on TikTok shop commission, which is insane to me, like objectively insane. But that's why everyone wants to be an influencer now. The barrier to entry is really low and there can be a huge upside. The unemployment rate is at a 4-year high. Salaries are being cut. People are being laid off en masse, which happened to me as well. AI is taking jobs. And I've noticed that when people do show their face in these types of accounts, a lot of times they seem to be either single moms or stay-at-home moms. So I do want to highlight that context because I think it's important that these are also probably women who would have a hard time finding another source of income otherwise. So, you know, I'm a little conflicted, but a trend I'm not conflicted about is the audacity of mid-men.
This is gonna sound arrogant, but I'm a San Francisco 10. Everywhere I go, I get a lot of attention. And I never got attention like this back in Scottsdale, Arizona, because in Scottsdale, you got the most attractive people on the planet, men and women. Also on the flip side here, the women I tend to find aren't as appealing to me as they were in Arizona, at least not my type. But yeah, it's a world of difference.
Honey, you're not a 10. You're a hard 5 with the voice of a 6 on a good day, and I can speak on behalf of all women in California when I say we don't want you here. And then we've got this guy.
But the point is, I went to pick her up at her apartment, and when she showed up, she was wearing like a tank and these jean shorts and slides, and I was really dressed up. I had this new J. Crew shirt on. I was really excited to see her for the first time, and her face looked good, her hair looked good, her makeup looked great, but she just wasn't dressed that nice. And honestly, I told her straight up, I was like, listen, first impressions are important to me, fashion and style is important to me. We're going to some nice restaurant to meet for the first time, and when I picked you up, I was honestly just so disappointed. So I guess what I would say is, ladies, please just, if you know you're going to a nice place for your first date, please just try to put yourself fully together and not just your hair and makeup. Anyway, I told her I was a bit disappointed, and I'm not really sure how to think about it now.
Yeah, I don't think men are lonely enough, truly, because you know he talks to his friends and he's all confused about why he never gets a second date. Like, my guy, there's a reason you're single. So I looked through his page to see, you know, his incredible fashion sense, and this was the fanciest outfit on his page. And this guy was so offended that a woman wore a tank top and shorts. Stay lonely, brother. What's so irritating to me about this genre of content is that it turns ordinary mediocrity into performance. Like, these guys might be kind of annoying and mildly irritating in real life, but just generally forgettable. But because of platforms like TikTok, their bad takes get amplified to millions of people. And, you know, because the platforms reward outrage, the worse their takes are, the more engagement they get. I honestly don't have any other examples. I just saw those 2 videos on my homepage and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna roast those guys. And so if I had to suffer through it, you had to suffer through it too. But one thing we don't have to suffer through is dry skin. So I'd like to take a quick break to thank the sponsor of today's video, which is Experiment, to celebrate the brand launching in Sephora, online, and in stores. Experiment's one of my favorite science-first skincare brands because of their fun, innovative, and really effective products. And I've talked about them in a non-sponsored capacity many times on Instagram. So I'm gonna share my top 3 favorites, starting with Super Saturated, which is my most repurchased Experiment product. And it's a hydrating serum with 30% glycerin, which makes it not only one of the most hydrating products that I've tried, but at concentrations above 25%, glycerin actually goes beyond hydration and can help strengthen the skin barrier. It has an incredible stretch, which makes it spread easily, while the finish leaves behind a great kind of grippy primer texture for a dewy makeup look, which I've been preferring lately. Molecular Mesh is a barrier strengthening moisturizer that hydrates, soothes, and supports the skin's natural repair process. So to me, it's like a semi-rich texture. It's deeply hydrating, but it doesn't feel heavy or sticky on my skin. And even my fiance, who has ridiculously sensitive skin, uses this and loves it. Software is a 3-in-1 lip treatment that hydrates, exfoliates, and protects dry lips. It's unscented, slightly cushiony, and it has an amazing grip to it that forms an occlusive seal over my lips. These products make for a beautifully hydrated base under makeup that's not greasy, and you can now get Experiment in stores and online at Sephora.com. Another trend that's been bothering me lately is this trend of brands forming these fake parasocial relationships with their consumers and especially using it in times where they have to take accountability for something. And the recent example that I want to use is e.l.f. Cosmetics. e.l.f. recently came under fire for an ad featuring Matt Rife, a TikTok comedian who has joked about domestic violence, alienating his, largely female audience. e.l.f. chose to feature him in the ad and, rightfully so, got a lot of backlash. And in my opinion, I think their apology was very much mishandled because they started with "you know us." Last time I checked, e.l.f. is a company, not a person, but it's made up of people that we do not know. Saying "you know us" feels really manipulative to me because it attempts to highlight trust between the audience and the brand, and that trust does not actually exist. That's why I find it so weird when people ride like super hard for brands because you don't actually know them. And I mean, most, if not all, companies prioritize the bottom line above all else. This is how brands blur the line between company and friend. I think saying "you know us" creates this like false sense of intimacy between the consumer and the brand, which then makes the consumer like a lot more likely to forgive. And this is part of a bigger shift that's happening in marketing right now. Like, brands aren't just selling products, they're selling personalities. And if you've ever seen a brand social media manager like comment on viral TikToks or, comment with other brands, it really does humanize them, and then it kind of increases your positive perception of the brand. What I think e.l.f. is doing here, whether intentionally or not, is, really leaning into parasocial tactics to dodge true accountability. Now, a lot of people think that this was a form of rage bait or outrage marketing, kind of intended to drum up online through controversy about using Matt Rife in the ad. But I'm inclined to think that this was honestly just an oversight and a true mistake because I've seen e.l.f. as a pretty conscious, thoughtful brand in the past. I kind of feel like someone over there just honestly made a mistake and had no idea that that was like the context with Matt Rife. But these days, it's so hard to tell because it seems like rage bait is everywhere. To sum up my general point, it's that companies aren't people. Every trend in this video seems to relate to rage bait somehow, so let's just give it its own section. This video appeared on my feed about a woman who got a "hey girly" text from her coworker while her husband was on a work trip. And if you don't know what the "hey girly" trend is, it basically just means you get a text from somebody who tells you that your spouse is cheating on you. So I wanted to know what happened with the story, so I went to her page and oh, look at that. All of the videos are the exact same thing. If you go to part 2, you can see a very subtly placed call out to an app called Hoomst in the fake text exchange with her fake husband. And you scroll through her account and you can see that all of her videos have some kind of subtle, undisclosed advertisement for Hoomst, a communication app. And the comments fall for it every single time, getting her millions of views from the engagement. I also saw this video on my feed where a woman records herself sitting near her boyfriend who's on a first date behind her back. The video got 4.7 million views, 826,000 likes, and thousands of comments supporting her. Surprise, surprise, she's promoting a website called cheaterbuster.com, and all of her videos repeat the exact same format. But we're not done yet because I have so many examples of rage bait I could share. I could probably make this into several different videos. This video has 17 million views, 1.2 million likes, and thousands of comments. And we can see a woman lock herself in the car and scroll through her fiance's phone before their wedding, and she finds his Tinder account. Much like the other creator, this is an ad for cheaterbuster.com again, except for this time, instead of tagging the website in the caption, she has it just in her link tree. Another type of rage bait I've seen kind of blurs the line between satire and like, are they mentally ill? This creator has been consistently posting about her mother being Nicole Kidman while she shares crazy stories about like Nicole Kidman hiding her under the floorboards and turning humans into ladders.
I am the daughter of Nicole Kidman. One of the craziest things growing up was finding out that my mom had the power to turn humans into ladders. I'm not really sure if it extended to turning animals into other objects or humans into other objects. I just know about the ladders.
And as predicted, everyone in the comments thinks she's mentally ill. They're talking about how Nicole's gonna sue her. They're criticizing her for being crazy, saying she needs to get help. But to me, it was just so incredibly obvious that this was blatant satire. And this is the kind of rage bait that I'm honestly okay with because I think it's really creative and it's so over the top that it's hard not to question if it's real.
I don't plan on ceasing or desisting anytime. First of all, because I don't know what desist means and I've never used it in a context other than one of those letters. When I'm served actual paperwork for her suing me, we'll see what the terms are, what exactly she's saying. I think defamation or slander laws only really count, right, if it's a lie. And I haven't really quite figured out how she can prove that she can't turn humans into ladders.
The creator all but confirmed that it's satire because I left a comment on her account saying how iconic it is that she keeps a straight face throughout all her videos and she liked it. So I think it's very clear to see that this is satire. And as annoying and problematic as rage bait can be and is, it also is just something that holds a mirror up to our own behaviors and thought patterns. For example, this creator posted a TikTok saying, "Can we normalize looking our actual age? I'm 29 and I look 29. There's nothing wrong with that." And it took me all but 5 seconds to go to her page and see that she's not 29. So I just assumed that everybody else would do that. But nope. Everybody's in the comments calling her out and saying that she looks old. Comments like, "Yeah, 29 minutes from signing the Declaration of Independence," or "I would cry if I looked that old at 29," or "Who's gonna tell her? 29 days away from 40, maybe." The irony is that these commenters thought they had a gotcha moment with her by calling her out for not looking 29, because God forbid a woman likes how she looks, but the joke's really on them because they're media illiterate. And it's disturbing to me because people would rather take the 10 seconds to leave a mean comment versus taking 5 seconds to go just look at her page and check out her other videos. Then this other rage bait video appeared on my feed, and it was of a young girl doing her makeup very badly. And if you went to her page, you would see her talk about the fact that she was doing that on purpose. And as predicted, the comments were incredibly brutal. People tearing her apart, saying it's the worst makeup they've ever seen, that she sounds dumb, she sounds like she has marbles in her mouth, that she should literally shut the F up. Basically every insult that you can think of. And who's leaving these comments? Mostly women. Women who would know that this creator is actually pretty good at makeup if they just went to her account and looked at other videos. So while we absolutely should call creators out for using rage bait as a strategy, we also need to call out the commenters who are leaving extremely hateful comments. So if you walk away with anything from this video, I hope it's that you just can't trust what you see online anymore, and it's worth it to take the time to go to someone's account and verify the content and really ask yourself, who benefits from my engagement? And the best thing you can do when you see rage bait is to not leave a comment at all, because any engagement counts as engagement, whether it's positive or if it's a hate comment. So just click not interested and then block the creator. And the thing about rage bait is that it's literally designed to hijack your emotions. Anger feels good in the moment, and it literally lights up your brain's reward system. That's why these fake cheating stories or bad makeup tutorials can spread so fast, because it literally keeps your brain addicted to that emotion. And since this video is about influencers, brands, and commenters, I want to dedicate an entire section to just bullying, because in my opinion, that is one of the worst trends on the internet right now, and I think it affects everybody. There's a really popular creator named Kayla Malik who recently won a domestic assault case against her ex-boyfriend. So Kayla has always received a lot of hate online for the way she does her makeup, but when she posted horrific videos of the abuse that she experienced, people were quick to apologize for being so mean to her and, for judging her without knowing what she was going through. But that didn't last long, and the comments on her videos, once again, are just as disgusting as ever, with people saying she's got pearly yellows, referring to her teeth, why is your eyeliner floating, and talking about her ugly makeup. Social media has trained us to consume people's pain like content. A breakup, an illness, an assault, these are life-altering, traumatic experiences that really affect people offline, but online for us, they're packaged in between cat videos and get ready with me tutorials. And after the initial shock or sympathy wears off, the algorithm serves us something new, but that person is still left with that trauma. But for us, it's yesterday's news. This creator only has 1,000 followers, and she posted a video about kids and was absolutely roasted in the comment section for her hairline. There are 4,000 comments on this video, and almost all of them are making fun of her hairline. And if you look back at her other videos that have barely any likes or engagement, people are still just leaving mean comments. Kudos to this woman, because she took it like an absolute champ and she used it as a moment to fuel her glow up into being a more confident version of herself. But I don't think a lot of people could handle that much negativity. This creator, for example, was bullied for her natural brows. This 36-year-old creator went viral for TikTok calling her a 50-year-old cigarette mom, and she's made tons of follow-up videos asking for beauty tips, and every time you can see there's just so much hurt in her eyes. This creator gained weight and has been receiving hate comments calling her fat and telling her that she needs to start working out. And these are all objectively beautiful women. And there are two patterns that I see here. One, it's that the comments are mostly left by women. And two, the comments usually focus on very superficial features that men don't get the same flack for, like aging or gaining weight. And the point isn't whether insults are true or not. It's that cruelty itself has become a form of entertainment. I'm just really concerned about the comment section across every platform: Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. It's really disturbing. And honestly, I don't really get that many mean comments anymore, but I'm disturbed just seeing how many mean comments there are on all of the content that I interact with on a daily basis. I just feel like we've really lost our humanity here. I mean, look at this woman. Look at this objectively beautiful 36-year-old woman who has objectively great skin. These comments make me want to throw up. So someone said, sorry, but at 36, I had better skin with no routine. Someone else said, no shade, but is this satire? The skin looks extremely mature. Another one, I'm confused. Are you saying we should invest because you didn't? Or these other comments, I'm confused. Or 56. Or sorry, I thought you meant 46. Or someone else saying, is this rage bait? I mean, are we insane? This woman has beautiful skin. Like, when hostility becomes the default reaction online, it's not just toxic for the creator, it's toxic for all of us. I don't think it's healthy for all of us to be seeing that much negativity, especially so much criticism towards women's appearances and bodies. And that cruelty has become so normalized that now it just seems to be the default online. And the next trend I want to talk about is shady brand promotions. I'm not really sure what the title should be for this, but normally when I talk about undisclosed ads, we're talking about an influencer who was paid to speak positively about a product and didn't properly disclose that they were being paid. In this situation, I just found these videos on my influencer research account, and I don't really know what to call them, but basically just looking at my notes here, it always starts with the creator sharing some kind of very excited or exaggerated story, like this one about someone being fired from Revolve for sharing a supposedly incredible shopping tip.
My friend at Revolve got fired for showing this. $48 is insane. Use the app's extension, and y'all.
What I'm trying to figure out is what's the incentive here? Because there's no label that the creator earns commission. There's no sponsorship or partnership disclosed. So maybe it could be the founder. They could be an employee who's just, trying to get the word out, or they could possibly be paid by FIA to do, to spread the word and increase brand awareness, or they could even be doing the labor for free. And with that strategy of saying, my friend got fired for this amazing shopping tip, she has been able to amass millions of views, and she just kind of changes the store name. So instead of Revolve, it becomes Aritzia. So I did a little digging, and I saw that FIA was founded by Phoebe Gates, the daughter of billionaires Melinda and Bill Gates, and also founded by Sophia Kiani, a classmate of Phoebe's at Stanford. So according to Crunchbase, FIA received almost $1 million in funding this year, including from Kris Jenner. So I was really surprised to find that this was actually a legit company, because I assumed it was just some shady little business using this kind of hidden ad to promote their company. But no, it's an actual legitimate social strategy for them, one that's very much intentional. And I just find it very bizarre because I found so many other accounts that are promoting FIA but have no disclosures, and they just have try FIA in their bios or their link trees. And this type of ad is tricky because it borrows the trust that we give to storytelling. So, when a creator shares a wild story that secretly promotes a product, it feels more believable to us, even though it's less honest, and that's such a mind trick. So I did a little more digging, and I found a creator named Jared Jenkins who basically discussed his experience with FIA asking him to do free labor, and I think that this says a lot.
Let's talk about how Bill Gates' daughter disrespected me. So Bill Gates' daughter reaches out to me. I don't know her, but she knows that I'm a luxury deal expert. So she reaches out saying, hey, I have this startup. We're focusing on deals, and I want you to review my product and give a review to your followers for free. Mind you, this is a service that I was charged thousands of dollars for, and she didn't even subscribe to my Substack. It's $5 a month, $30 a year, and they just signed up for the free tier. But you know what? I downloaded the app, and I told him if you would have reached out well in advance of the launch, I would have told you do not launch. I actually downloaded the app, and it's absolutely worthless. For example, these men's Loewe dress shoes are $417 on sale. They retail for $11.50. FIA couldn't find a lower price. They basically recommended a bunch of stuff that was Loewe. Or take this Burberry dress that also retails for $11.50. Oatsins, one of their many competitors, properly recognized that this was the lowest price. Let's see how FIA did. Oh, they recommended me a different dress that was more expensive, and it was used. I said, you know what? I'll serve it as a visor. Of course, I didn't get a response. Phoebe Gates and her co-founder Sophia aren't trying to sell an actual product. They're trying to sell vibes and business riz. By the way, I didn't make that up. That's something that they use on a podcast with their investor, Kris Jenner. They want all of the publicity, none of the work. Here they are on the Call Her Daddy podcast. New York Times did a profile on her, and there's no way any woman of color founder would be taken serious posing like this. But that didn't stop Sheryl Sandberg from being one of their investors. I may not be the child of a billionaire, but I am an expert deal finder, and even a child of a billionaire knows that.
$1 million in funding, plus all of the resources that team has, makes it a pretty sizable budget for initial marketing costs, building the complex platform, hiring costs, operating expenses. So I believe that they certainly had the ability to pay that creator. And if they didn't want to pay, they should not have asked for labor. To me, this is just not a good look. And another trend that's not a good look is The TikTok vernacular. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it's when you go to a comment section and you see that everyone is saying the same comment on every video because one person said it, it went viral, and people thought it was funny, and then it never stops. The one that drives me crazy the most is "hope this helps" because it's used in a snarky tone to kind of insult you. Or, you know, when people say, "Hey, so," or when people will screenshot a TikTok when it doesn't have a lot of likes or engagement, and they'll say, "I love supporting small creators." Like, it was funny once, but seeing it 400,000 times is not particularly interesting. And I genuinely worry that we are losing our creativity, our individuality, our sense of self by just copying what everybody else does. The pervasiveness of the TikTok vernacular has not only made us lose our individuality, but it's like we've outsourced thinking, especially with the reliance on AI. I'm seeing all these comment sections and people becoming these chronically online little TikTok parrots. And it's not just annoying, but it's actually, you know, shaping the way that we talk. So if you're a young professional, try to avoid using TikTok language, especially in a job interview or a job setting, because you also have to keep in mind that we all have different algorithms. So if I say something like, "I'm bashful, I didn't know," only a handful of people are gonna know that I'm referring to Ashby, who likes to dress up as the Lorax. And I have to end the video on that note because I gotta go pick up my friends from the airport. But I had all these other sections planned about microtrend burnout, overconsumption, viral everything, lazy sponsorships, generation wars, engagement fishing, and then I had a whole final section to end the video on a good note with all of these positive trends that I really like. So let me know if you want to see a part 2 of this video and I can kind of finish everything I wanted to talk about. Thank you so much for watching wherever you are. I hope you're all right and you're hanging in there. Sending you lots of love, and I'll see you in the next one.